Okay, this is an introductory video looking at Pythagoras' theorem. So Pythagoras' theorem is a theorem that states that if you take the square of the two shorter sides of a right-angled triangle, it will be equal to the square of the length of the longer side of that triangle. So this image here, you can see we've actually created squares from each side of the triangle, and you can see the area lines up with the largest square on the largest side of the triangle. So we'll look into the algebraic term of this, but first I just want to show you, actually we will look at that now. So the formula goes, or Pythagoras' theorem, that if you square the longer side, so c squared, so c multiplied by itself, which creates a large square on this side, is equal to the sum, or if you add together, the square of a, or a squared, and b squared. So I'll show you a short video showing that these areas, or this formula, actually works using volume, using area in liquid. So let's have a watch of this video now. So you can see here we start with all the water in the two smaller square sides. And as we pour the liquid in, we see the area of those two small squares fits perfectly into the largest square. And then you can see the reverse is also true. Fantastic. Awesome. So that's just a good visualization to help you remember this rule. What we need to also recognize is the longest side, and we've said it in previous videos, the longest side here is called the hypotenuse. So that's the side opposite your right angle is always the longest side, and it is the hypotenuse. So if you square and add the two smaller sides, it will be equal to the square of the largest side. So we can use this to find unknown lengths of triangles when we know two of the sides. All we need to know how to do is be able to find the square root of different numbers. So the square root, if you'll recall, is the opposite of squaring. So the square root of 4 is finding a number that is, when multiplied itself, it gives us 4. So we know that 2 is, if we square, multiply 2 by 2, we get back to 4. So the square root of 4 is 2. Square root of 36, think of a number that multiplies by itself to give 36. That would be 6, because 6 squared, or 6 times 6, is 36. When you have an operation in here, so we'd consider that bracket, so we'd do inside the brackets first, so that's equal to square root of 10 plus 6, which is 16, would be 4. Because 4 squared is 16. And then this one would simplify inside the square root sign first. So 29 minus 2 squared. So that's 29 minus 4, which is equal to the square root of 25, which equals 5. So we need to know that skill in order to be able to solve these triangles. So whenever you're doing your trying to find an unknown side, you should always label the sides of your triangles A, B, and C. So A and B, it doesn't matter which of the two shorter sides you label A or B, but it's really important that the hypotenuse is always your C. So the longer side opposite the right angle is always C. So you can see in this diagram here, C is that longer side there, because you have to add those two small sides to get to that longer side squared, of course. So A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Okay. So your job is to find the length of the hypotenuse for all of these. Okay. This is an activity in the 1-star and also 3-star sheets, but I'll go through another example here just to give you an idea of what that might look like. So let's say we have a right angle triangle. Now remember, Pythagoras theorem only works with right angle triangles. Let's say we know the two sides of this triangle, which are 3 and 4. And we need to find the unknown side, which in this case is the hypotenuse, or the longest side. So to do that, we can use Pythagoras' theorem. So the first thing we need to do is label our sides. So we have C, we have A, and we have B. So remember, A and B, it doesn't matter which one of the shorter sides is A and which one's B, as long as the longer side, the hypotenuse, is C. So we know Pythagoras' theorem is C squared equals A squared plus B squared. So from our algebra topic, we know we can just substitute in. When we see A, we'd put in 3. When we see B, we'd put in 4. So C squared equals 3 squared plus 4 squared. So C squared is equal to 3 squared is 3 times 3 is 9 plus 4 squared, 4 times 4 is 16. We can add those together. C squared equals 25. So if we know C squared equals 25, that means that C would be the square root of 25. If we square root this side, we square root the other side. So do the same to both sides, keep it in balance. So the square root of 25, you could write that out there. C must be the square root of 25. Square root of 25 is 5. So that third side must be 5. And that is how you can use Pythagoras' theorem to find unknown sides in a triangle. Okay. So remember, always label the sides of your triangle and then write out the formula in full. So this is a really important one, guys, to probably be doing in your books if you're working out before you write your final answer, or try and show you're working out on your Google document as well as much as you can. But this is a good one to be doing on paper as well to get your head around it. All right, please email your teacher if you have any questions, and good luck.